Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Essentials.tf. Welcome to our continued coverage of eSport United Community Rumble. And we're here with the interview for b4nny. He's a big name in TF2, and you might have heard of him. He's a two-time I-Series winner, multi-finalist, and I can't even count how many ESA titles this man has held on to. He's arguably the most successful TF2 player, and he's most definitely the most famous. It's b4nny. What do you think of that intro, man? Did I do you justice? What do you think?
Pretty good intro. I've won ESUA 14 times, in case you're curious.
Wow, you've got that information on hand. Nice. b4nny, does the fame ever get to you at all? Like, it seems that you've been doing this for so long, and you've got so many like fans and just attention everywhere you go. It feels like. Does it ever like even kind of surprise you?
Honestly, not really. I think I know that TF2 is a pretty obscure game. I mean, within the community, a lot of people know me, and it's cool. But sometimes it can be a little bit weird, I suppose, if everyone knows who I am and I don't know who they are, and people are like looking at me, and they're like, "I think I know you," but I don't know them. But other than that, it tends to be pretty cool. I think everyone in TF2 gets along pretty well, and yeah, we can just treat each other as friends.
Now, is this your first time in Sweden, or just a quick question?
Yes, it is. I actually have never been to any country in Europe except for England, and I've been there like 6 times, but this is my first time anywhere else.
Have you done any sightseeing at all while you were here? You know, what do you think to the country of Sweden in general, maybe?
We tried to do a little bit of sightseeing earlier today. We just walked around the town and all that. Hopefully going to do more, like check out the waterfront and go to the park or something. The weather's not great for sightseeing right now, but we'll try and do what we can. I mean, it's been pretty cool so far. Very different vibe here, I guess. We did a road trip, like a 4-hour road trip over from Arlanda, Stockholm, and saw nothing but just farmland and forests. So it was kind of cool to finally get to some civilization over here and get to a little town here and just meet some locals over at some of the restaurants and shops around here. And yeah, it's been cool. I hope to see more. It's been fun.
Just talking a little bit more about the LAN itself, and have you ever played at a LAN like this before, like the whole aspect where you don't have to bring your own computer? It might actually strike you like an ESE LAN almost. Do you agree, or what do you think?
Yeah, I've been to a few like this. It's, I guess, more rare that the PCs are provided, but obviously eSports Arena, Rewind LAN has that going on. ESEA LANs used to, back at those hotel ballrooms. And I actually organized and ran 2 small local LANs at a LAN center in a mall over in Southern California a couple of years ago. So that was probably the most similar to this, where like there was a small production room, a couple rows of computers, spectator lounge, all that, and kind of in one big room. So yeah, I miss this vibe sometimes. It's good for a community to sort of like just all be in one room and everyone interacting. I think it's fun.
Now, from your perspective, b4nny, what's like the hardest thing about LAN for you? Is it like the travel, the pressure? There must be something about LAN that even you struggle with. Come on now.
I mean, there are challenges to LAN, of course, but I think the hardest part is just getting comfortable and getting in the zone, being able to play your best, I'd say. I don't mind traveling. You know, it was a long journey to get here, but now that we're here, I don't even concern myself with it. I'm just focused on the tournament, and I don't know. It's about trying to make the most of it when you're competing, you know, because we had a couple struggles with an earlier game and tried to use it as a learning experience, you know, and yeah, just keep our eye on the prize, you know. So that's all it's about.
b4nny, I've got to ask, you've been to a few of these LANs abroad now, and usually find that the home crowd isn't exactly favorable to the Americans when coming over, but I know talking to them casually, like they say, "Oh, it doesn't bother us, or it doesn't bother us," but you know, does it really? Come on, is there anything, just a tiny part of you think like, man, it's not nice, or it really does bother me, or anything like that?
No, I wouldn't say so. I enjoy proving people wrong, so if they're cheering against us and we win, that makes it feel pretty good to us. So yeah, generally in a match though, we're just focused, so try to just tune everything else out, and yeah, it doesn't really get to us. At least not to me personally. I know that that can be a source of some like LAN nerves for people, but I've seen it so many times that it's not really a big deal to me anymore.
I know a lot of people like to argue about what your best performance was, or where they think was a personal highlight LAN for Banny or his team or whatever. But what about you, Banny? What's your actual personal LAN or victory that you you hold in like very high regard? Is the one that you remember very fondly?
Damn, there's actually a couple that are really important to me. I'd say I-52 has to be up there because that was our first ever world championship title. Honestly, all of the 3 world championships, I'd say, like I-52, I-55, and Rewind, like those 3. I-55 is probably the one that I go to, though, for like personal, because I think that I had a really big impact at that tournament, and because I was playing Pocket Soldier for like, I think that was one of my first Pocket Soldier lands, and I just did a lot of damage, so it was pretty satisfying to win off of a strong performance.
All right, all right. Well, I was kind of curious. Do you keep in touch with any of your old teammates that you've made or played with over the years? Like, have you made any like long-lasting friendships from the back of this game?
Occasionally we keep in touch. I guess I tend to stay pretty busy with my current team, so not a lot of time just hanging out with old teammates, but every once in a while I'll chat with them, or if they stream or something, I'll hop in and chat with them. Occasionally I'll like ask one of them to ring and just like bring a familiar face back. Like I think we had Sizer ring at some point, and you know, whoever we can get to just sort of spice things up. We always try to ask Lansky to play, and you know, most of the people have moved on though. That's kind of the truth of it, is you know, they don't really play TF2 or care too much about it anymore or whatever. So I just try to focus on the here and now and the people who are still with us, you know. So yeah.
Now, a lot of people kind of play into the whole like NA versus EU sort of like storyline. They like the whole like, I guess, home turf pride about it, but and stuff like that. And usually people kind of get these storylines out of nowhere where it's like, oh, what's his face? Who hates this person hates this person. But is there anybody like you want to put on the record that you like respect greatly from Europe or anything like that? It doesn't have to be from now. It could be from just like past or anything. Like any notable Euros that you can list, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a rivalry, and I think it's healthy, honestly. But some of my favorite Euro players in history were probably Rib and Miralyn. I just always thought they were pretty impressive players, and got to play against them at a couple lands, so that was fun. I don't know, I just felt like Rib in particular, like he was kind of the guy who I always associate with like perfecting rollouts. And back when I used to play demo, that was really important. So I used to really pay attention to him. And then like Miralyn, he just was really flashy and risky, and I always liked watching that and meeting him a couple times. He was an interesting guy. So yeah, I don't know, just some of the characters I think stand out. But you know, when you're playing against any team, like even if they are, you know, your rivals or you intensely want to beat them, you have to always kind of respect what they're capable of and never underestimate them. So, I mean, any player that's going to be facing us in a tournament, we respect them, you know, at least to that level. So, yeah.
Banny, I would say you live your life quite visible to the open public. I mean, you stream quite often. You've got a pretty successful social media, and you post fairly often about not just things in TF2, but what's going on with you in general. But is there anything that we don't know about Banny? There must be something that even you have kept hidden all these days. Is that a fly? I'll get that for you. Like,
Man, I definitely do live a pretty public life these days. I don't know, man. This is actually a really hard question because I feel like I'm extremely open and honest, that I don't keep too many secrets, really. I mean, yeah, we might have to swing back around to this one. I still need to think.
all right, that's fair. That's fair. Anyway, I want to go back to the social media for a little bit of a second. You do speak your mind, to say the least, when it comes to social media. You don't really try to put a filter on things. You just want to kind of say what needs to be said in your own personal opinion. But is there anything even the big b4nny regrets saying on social media?
I don't think I regret anything. No, I think I can still stand behind my words. That's why I put them out there in the first place. There's occasionally things that I write that maybe I'm like drunk or something when I write it, and I'll look back and I'll be like, I wouldn't write that now, but in the moment, it was fun to write, so I'll let it be. So, yeah, no regrets.
I know you've just said no regrets at all, but if you could maybe tip the scales and like go back all the way back to young b4nny, who was first fresh face coming onto the scene, what advice would you give to him now?
Well, I'd say the biggest piece of advice I would give to a young me would just be to put more effort into streaming and YouTube early on, because that's been the most life-changing thing for me. It's kind of allowed me to really commit to gaming full-time and all that. And I've only been doing it for the last 3 years, and I've been playing TF2 for 10 years. So, those 7 years, if they would have been dedicated to content creation, I think could have made a huge difference. So now I'm kind of just playing catch-up, I guess.
Right, I think I've exhausted all of my questions, b4nny, but I guess we still have the little thing about what don't we know about b4nny. But I'll tell you what, I'll give you the mic one last time, and I'll let you just look into the camera and you talk about what you want to talk about. Any closing thoughts? If you got nothing on, of secret to tell us, it's okay. But in the meantime, any closing thoughts from b4nny?
Man, I sure, yeah. If you're enjoying this LAN, make sure to follow the Essentials Twitch and their Twitter, of course. I stream and I make videos and I post on Twitter, as he mentioned. Maybe sometimes some controversial but entertaining things. So you can find me there. Look for this logo, and you can. If you're enjoying watching our team, we are FroyoTech, and we have a permanent merch store going on now. We're trying to come to as many of these events as we can. So if you want to wear the FroyoTech logos, that also helps us out. So yeah, otherwise just keep enjoying the LAN, and hopefully we'll have a great upper bracket final and grand final and all that.
Perfect, b4nny. Anyway, thank you very much for the interview. It's been a pleasure, and I've been TurboTabs, and stay tuned for more playoff games coming on essentials.tf, and yeah, we're also keeping note that we have a Twitter as well. I mean, don't just follow b4nny, follow us as well. We've got some nice little content. We've got some competitions going where you can make some memes. Oh boy, corporate memes, and also, we've got some little shout-outs to Plantronics and eSports United as well, making all of this possible. Anyway, I've been TurboTabs, this has been b4nny, and that's us signing out. See you soon for the more games.